When you are frustrated, your life begins to feel like a closed door. You push and push, but nothing opens. You plan, you try, you struggle, and yet everything around you seems to mock your effort. You ask yourself, why me? Why is everything working against me? But hear me, child of God. Frustration is not your enemy. Frustration is a messenger. It comes not to destroy you, but to direct you. Every man or woman that ever achieved something great in life walked through the valley of frustration. Frustration is the fire that purifies your intention. It burns away the noise. It reveals whether your pursuit is born of faith or born of flesh. When you are frustrated, you discover whether you are depending on your own strength or on the strength of God. You see, the reason you are frustrated is not because life hates you. It is because your season of productivity is near and God is preparing your heart. Before gold shines, it must pass through fire. Before a seed grows, it must first die in the soil. Before productivity, there must be pressure. Pressure reveals potential. You are crying because things are not moving. But listen, when things stop moving around you, that is when God begins to move within you. When opportunities stop answering to you, that is when your destiny starts calling you. What looks like delay is often direction. What feels like rejection is often redirection. Many of us want to be productive without being purified. We want success without surrender. We want results without refinement. But God cannot trust a vessel that has not been tested. Frustration is that test. It is the test of faith, the test of patience, the test of obedience. When you are frustrated, that is the time to pause, not to quit. That is the time to listen, not to complain. Because frustration carries a voice. It is saying, something is wrong with the way you are doing it. Something must change. But instead of listening, many of us fight. We fight our circumstances. We fight people. We fight ourselves. And in fighting, we lose the lesson. Frustration is not a curse. It is a compass. It points to what needs to be corrected. It points to what you need to learn, unlearn, and relearn. You see, you can never be productive until you understand the purpose of pain. A man who avoids frustration will also avoid growth, because growth only happens where there is resistance. If everything is easy, your faith will never mature. If everything goes your way, your heart will never learn endurance. Frustration trains your focus. It teaches you to trust the process, even when the process is uncomfortable. Look at your life. Every time you grew, it was not during comfort. It was during challenge. You became wiser not through applause, but through disappointment. You became stronger not through ease, but through struggle. You became more disciplined not through success, but through failure. So why fear frustration? It is the soil where your fruit will grow. Frustration is a signal, not the end of your story, But the beginning of transformation, you say, I have prayed, I have fasted, I have tried everything, but maybe the problem is not what you are doing. Maybe it's how you are doing it. God is not interested in your activity. He is interested in your attitude. He wants to change how you see, because the moment your perception changes, your productivity will multiply. You can't move from frustration to productivity without transformation of the mind. As long as your thinking is wrong, your results will remain the same. Many of us want change outside, but refuse to change inside. We want new outcomes without new mindsets. Productivity does not start with the hands. It starts with the heart. The Bible says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It didn't say, be transformed by changing your job, your city, or your friends. It said, renew your mind. Because the greatest limitation in your life is not what surrounds you, but what resides within you. You can be in the best environment and still be barren if your heart is not right. You can have all the tools, all the knowledge, all the resources, but if frustration controls your spirit, you will never see progress. Why? Because frustration drains energy. It turns your focus to fear, your hope to anger, your patience to complaint. Frustration whispers lies. You are not good enough. You will never make it. Nothing ever works for you. And when you listen to those lies, you lose your peace. You lose your direction. You lose your joy. And a man who has lost his joy can never be productive. Joy is fuel for progress. Stop fighting your frustration, study it. Ask yourself, what is this season teaching me? Every frustration carries a lesson. Maybe God is teaching you timing, that you cannot force a door open before its appointed time. Maybe He is teaching you humility, that your success must not become your pride. Maybe He is teaching you trust, that your confidence should not rest in people but in Him. Until you learn the lesson of frustration, you will repeat the same season again and again. You will change jobs, change cities, change relationships, but the same story will follow you. Why? Because you have changed your environment, but not your mindset. Frustration becomes productivity the moment you stop blaming and start building. Stop saying, why me? And start saying, what now? The past is not your problem, your perception is. Productivity begins when you stop looking at what went wrong and start asking, what can I do right now with what I have? You see, every frustration contains the seed of creativity. Many of the world's greatest inventions were born out of frustration. When man became tired of darkness, he found electricity. When man became tired of walking, he created vehicles. When man became tired of distance, he built communication. Frustration is the mother of innovation. When you are tired of where you are, don't curse the ground. Cultivate it. Don't complain about the mountain. Climb it. Don't weep over the storm. Walk through it. Frustration is an invitation to discover a new version of yourself. There is a kind of frustration that is holy. It is when you know you are meant for more, but you are still where you are. It is not bitterness. It is divine dissatisfaction. It is the restlessness that pushes you to growth. But be careful. If not managed, that same frustration can turn to destruction. It can make you bitter, jealous, envious, and angry at life. That is why you must channel it into purpose. When frustration visits you, don't waste it. Convert it into focus. Let it become your motivation, not your excuse. When you are frustrated, don't just react, reflect. Ask yourself, what can I learn here? What is this pushing me to do differently? If you turn frustration into reflection, reflection will turn into revelation, and revelation will birth productivity. But if you turn frustration into anger, anger will lead to confusion, and confusion will birth stagnation. You cannot be productive with a polluted heart. When you allow anger, resentment, or disappointment to rule your spirit, you block inspiration. Productivity flows from peace. Inspiration flows from calmness. That is why your greatest work often comes after prayer, after quietness, after stillness, because in that silence, your spirit becomes sensitive to direction. The greatest productivity is not from those who are busy, but from those who are guided. You can be busy and barren. You can be active and unproductive. Because productivity is not the fruit of motion, it is the fruit of purpose. If your effort is not connected to purpose, frustration will multiply. Many people are working hard, but not working right. They are doing many things, but not the right thing. Direction is more powerful than speed. Productivity is not about how fast you go, but how aligned you are with your purpose. Before you ask God to remove your frustration, ask Him to reveal your purpose. Because once you see where you are meant to go, your frustration becomes fuel. It becomes energy. It becomes clarity. When you understand purpose, every delay makes sense. Every rejection becomes redirection. Every closed door becomes protection. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, thank you, Lord, for preparing me. Because you now see that frustration was never meant to stop you. It was meant to strengthen you. Listen. Sometimes God will allow you to be frustrated because He is protecting you from false success. There are successes that destroy, blessings that distract, and promotions that poison. So when He delays you, He is saving you. You are praying for a door to open, but God is saying, that door is too small for your destiny. So He keeps it closed until your capacity grows. That frustration is not punishment. It is preparation. If you can endure frustration without losing faith, without losing focus, without losing love, then you are ready for productivity. Because productivity requires patience. Productivity requires process. Productivity requires pruning. Look at nature. A farmer does not plant today and harvest tomorrow. There is a season to sow and a season to wait. That waiting season often feels like frustration. Nothing seems to move. Nothing seems to grow. But underground, roots are forming. Structure is building. Foundations are strengthening. When nothing seems to be happening, something is happening. God is working behind the scenes, shaping you for your season. So don't let frustration make you give up one day before your breakthrough. When frustration knocks, feed your faith. When delay comes, guard your heart. When progress slows, keep your peace. Because peace is proof that you trust the process. Frustration cannot rule a peaceful heart. Every frustration that comes your way carries two options. It can either make you bitter or make you better. The choice is yours. You can use it as a reason to complain or as a reason to create. Frustration turns to productivity the moment you focus on what you can control. You cannot control people, seasons, or timing, but you can control your response, your discipline, your attitude. Control your words when you are frustrated. Control your emotions. Control your focus. Because frustration magnifies what you feed it. If you feed your frustration with anger, it will grow into chaos. If you feed it with faith, it will grow into creativity. Whatever you magnify will multiply. Listen, the world does not reward frustration, it rewards results. But results are born from those who refuse to give up during frustration, those who remain steadfast, those who keep planting, keep pushing, keep believing, even when nothing seems to work. When you are frustrated, remember, even Jesus faced frustration. He was misunderstood, rejected, betrayed. Yet he did not quit. He turned his frustration into compassion, his pain into purpose, his wounds into wisdom. That is your model. When life pushes you to your limit, don't break. Bend, adjust, realign. Sometimes the blessing is not in what you get, but in who you become during the waiting. You may not understand everything now, but one day you will look back and say, if I had not been frustrated, I would not have found my focus. If I had not been delayed, I would not have developed discipline. If I had not been rejected, I would not have been redirected. So, my friend, the next time you feel frustration rising, don't run from it. Embrace it as a teacher. Ask God to show you its message. Let it refine you, not define you. Let it push you forward, not pull you backward. Because beyond frustration lies formation. Beyond pain lies purpose. Beyond struggle lies strength. You are not stuck. You are being shaped. You are not losing. You are learning. You are not breaking. You are being built. From frustration to productivity, that is the journey of every great destiny. Endure the process. Trust the purpose. And when your time comes, you will not only produce, you will overflow. Every frustration carries the seed of your next breakthrough. You may not see it, you may not feel it, but within that storm, within that confusion, within that waiting, something is forming that will change the direction of your life forever. Nothing in life happens without a reason. Every disappointment, every rejection, every delay is a divine classroom where God trains your spirit for the future He has prepared for you. The problem is we are too quick to escape the lesson. We want deliverance without development, blessings without building, results without refinement. But God does not waste frustration. If He allows it, there is a seed in it. A seed does not grow in comfort. It grows in darkness, under pressure, unseen. So when your life feels buried, remember, you are not buried. You are planted. Something is taking root beneath the surface. Frustration is the soil where that seed is hidden. You cry, you question, you pray, but it feels silent. Yet that silence is sacred. God is working when you cannot see Him. The seed of breakthrough is being watered by your tears, strengthened by your patience, tested by your endurance. The deeper your frustration, the stronger your foundation. Because before God lifts a man, He first teaches him to stand. Before He reveals your next chapter, He will close the last one completely. Frustration is that closing moment, the bridge between what was and what will be. Most people see frustration as failure, but frustration is feedback. It's God's way of saying, this door is not for you, or this method must change. It's not punishment, it's preparation. You may have been praying for breakthrough in one area, but your frustration there may be guiding you to another door entirely. You think you are losing time, but you are being redirected. Every seed knows when to break. Every destiny has its appointed time to emerge. But before that time, the seed must die to its old form. The old dream must die. The old plan must collapse. The old comfort must fade away. Frustration brings that death. And out of that death, new vision is born. When you are frustrated, your heart becomes sensitive. You start to think deeply. You start to question your motives, your habits, your direction. That is not weakness. It is awareness. Frustration sharpens focus. It forces you to stop running in circles and start seeking true direction. And when you finally align with your purpose, the same energy that once caused pain becomes power. The same pressure that once broke you becomes the power that builds you. Every seed breaks before it grows. Every man breaks before he shines. You must understand, breakthrough is not an event. It is a process. Every process comes with pain. Every change comes with challenge. And every elevation comes with endurance. You cannot skip it. If you run away from the season of frustration, you run away from the seed of greatness inside you. That frustration is shaping you. It is burning away pride, teaching you patience, building your resilience, and refining your focus. Without it, your success would destroy you. Without it, your blessing would become a burden. The seed of your breakthrough is being protected inside that pain. Sometimes frustration is God's way of forcing you to grow. You would not change if you were not uncomfortable. You would not move if everything was convenient. Look back at your life. The seasons you thought would break you became the seasons that made you. The people who left pushed you closer to purpose. The opportunities that closed pushed you into creativity. The prayers that seemed unanswered were answered in a higher way. Every frustration was a chapter in the story of your breakthrough. The seed of breakthrough does not look like success. It often looks like struggle. Joseph's seed was planted when he was thrown into the pit. Moses' seed was planted in the wilderness. David's seed was planted when he was rejected by his brothers. Each of them faced frustration, betrayal, misunderstanding. Yet within that frustration lay the foundation of their calling. They didn't see it then, but looking back, they realized that every pain was necessary. Your story is no different. The frustration you feel right now is not the end. It's the beginning of something new that will reveal itself in time. When a seed is planted, it is surrounded by darkness. The soil covers it. It is pressed, it is hidden, and it seems forgotten. But within that darkness, a transformation begins. The outer shell breaks, and life starts to push through. The seed must break to sprout. Likewise, your breakthrough requires something in you to break. Your pride, your impatience, your fear, your dependency on people. These are shells that hold your potential captive. Frustration is the tool that cracks them open. The more you resist the process, the longer your growth is delayed. Yield to it. Surrender to what it is teaching you. Because when the breaking is complete, the growth will be unstoppable. Many people give up right before their seed begins to sprout. They see nothing changing, so they stop watering it with faith, with discipline, with consistency. They say, I've prayed long enough, I've tried enough, I've waited enough. But breakthrough does not come to the impatient. A seed cannot be rushed. If you stop believing during your frustration, you uproot the seed. Stay planted even when you see no sign of progress. Because faith is not believing when you see, it is believing until you see. The greatest miracles happen in silence, when it feels like nothing is working. Frustration is not meant to destroy your faith. It is meant to deepen it. Anyone can praise God when things go well, but it takes true faith to keep trusting when nothing makes sense. That is where strength is born. That is where spiritual maturity grows. You may be frustrated because your effort seems ignored, your prayers seem unanswered, your dreams seem delayed. But the seed is still in the ground. It is not dead. It is developing. Every day, Unseen roots are stretching deeper, preparing to carry the weight of your future harvest. If the roots are not strong, the fruit will not last. That is why God delays certain blessings. He is strengthening your foundation. When you see others moving ahead, do not envy them. Everyone's seed grows in its own season. What works for others may not work for you because your soil is different. Your process is different. Your assignment is different. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. The seed of your breakthrough has its own divine timetable, and when it finally blooms, no force can stop it. There are two kinds of people in frustration: those who complain and those who cultivate. Complainers see only the pain. Cultivators look for the purpose. Complainers blame. Cultivators build. Every minute you spend complaining about your frustration is a minute wasted that could have been spent growing. The difference between frustration and breakthrough is interpretation. When you see frustration as failure, you stop moving. When you see it as formation, you keep growing. How you interpret your season determines whether you will emerge bitter or better. The seed of breakthrough also requires pruning. Sometimes God will cut things away: relationships, plans, opportunities, not because He wants to hurt you, but because He wants to make room for more fruit. The branch that bears fruit is the one He prunes most. So when you lose something during frustration, don't panic. That loss may be the space where your next blessing will grow. You cannot hold on to everything and expect to grow. Growth demands release. Frustration teaches you what to release. Every great idea, every invention, every revelation was born in a moment of frustration. When a person grows tired of the same result, they begin to think differently. Frustration stretches your imagination. It makes you creative. It forces you to ask better questions. It awakens the problem solver within you. That is why frustration is not the opposite of productivity. It is the birthplace of it. If you handle frustration with wisdom, it will become your workshop. You will start building, learning, adjusting, and improving. That process turns frustration into fuel. When your plans collapse, that's when you discover God's plan. When your path closes, that's when a new one opens. Breakthrough often hides behind breakdown. What looks like the end of your journey is often the bend that leads to destiny. Don't be deceived by how things appear. Every seed looks dead before it grows. Every dream looks impossible before it manifests. Your frustration may be the very signal that your next season is ready to unfold. Stay faithful in the waiting, because faithfulness in frustration is the greatest proof of readiness. Be careful what you say in your frustration. Words are seeds too. When you speak defeat, you plant destruction. When you speak faith, you plant destiny. Guard your mouth. Don't let frustration make you curse what God is still constructing. Speak life. Say, this season will pass. This pain will produce. This delay will deliver. Because your words create your world. Frustration wants you to complain, but faith wants you to confess. Keep your confession strong. The seed of breakthrough needs light, and that light is gratitude. Even when you are frustrated, find something to thank God for. Gratitude breaks the cycle of frustration. It keeps your heart soft, your spirit open, your eyes clear. You cannot be productive with a bitter heart. Gratitude waters the seed. Every thank you keeps your faith alive. Every act of praise is a declaration that you still believe in the unseen harvest. Gratitude turns frustration into worship, and worship attracts wisdom. When you face deep frustration, do not isolate yourself. Isolation magnifies pain. Surround yourself with voices that remind you of purpose. Talk to those who have walked through similar seasons and emerged stronger. Learn from their journey. Every man who ever became great walked through seasons of silent struggle. You are not alone. The path of greatness always passes through the valley of frustration. The difference is that the wise do not quit in the valley. They keep walking until they reach the mountain. Sometimes the reason frustration hurts so deeply is because you are too attached to the form, not the function. You are attached to the way you thought it should happen, not the purpose behind it. God may change the method, but not the mission. You may lose one opportunity, but that loss can lead to a better one. You may face one closed door, but it can redirect you to a gate far greater. The seed of your breakthrough may not grow where you planted it, but it will still grow where God wills it. The more you mature, the more you realize that frustration is part of favor. To be chosen is to be challenged. To be anointed is to be attacked. Every calling comes with conflict, every dream with delay. But inside that tension, something holy is forming. You are learning obedience, humility, endurance. These are the nutrients that feed the seed of breakthrough. Without them, your success would be short-lived. With them, your success will stand the test of time. Frustration exposes your dependence. It reveals who or what your heart truly trusts. If your peace depends on things going your way, then your peace is shallow. But if your peace remains, even when things fall apart, then your faith is rooted. That's where real breakthrough begins. Not outside you, but within you. True productivity is born from inner stability. When nothing can shake your faith, nothing can stop your fruit. The seed of your breakthrough is already in you. You don't need to search for it. You need to nurture it. You have ideas, gifts, potential, and divine insight waiting to emerge. But frustration clouds your vision. When you calm your spirit, when you surrender your struggle, clarity will return. And when clarity comes, creativity flows. That's when you begin to see what you could not see before. Frustration blinds, But faith restores sight. No season lasts forever. Even the deepest frustration has an expiration date. But what you learn during it will remain. It will equip you for the next level, for greater responsibility, for deeper impact. Every frustration today is training you for tomorrow's fruitfulness. And when the time is right, that hidden seed within you will rise, stronger, wiser, and more